Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. So last 1 week was very bad for the market overall. अगर हम निफ्टी को देखते हैं, निफ्टी खुद था 2.5% डाउन and other than that overall all the sectoral indices, I think Nifty Realty went down more than 11% last 1 week and overall most sectoral indices उतना ही down था. Nifty IT was good at around flattish था, 0.17 -% negative था. Other than that, I think mid cap, small cap, sub micro cap, sub लगभग more than 5% नीचे था, right? So overall, it was not a good market for the portfolio. But I think we're getting signals from a lot of investors that it's now time to look into the small cap and mid cap once again. अगर मैं बोलूँ, one of the signals is from ICICI Mutual Fund, so which is led by Mr. S. Narain. And if I'm not wrong, I think around 1.5 साल बाद उनका जो fund था, ICICI small cap fund, that was closed because of high valuation. But I think this last 1 week they're opening it up again. So this typically signals that from the market veterans that it's time to sort of look into the broader market. And with such price correction, I think as investors थोड़ा सा पेशेंस रख के अगर आप अपना जो हिसाब कर रहे थे उसको अभी क्लोज करने का ज़रूरत नहीं है. सो आई थिंक वी शुड रियली यूज़ दिस मोमेंट टू गेट चीपर बार्गेन्स. That was more or less the broad market, and yes, the USD INR crossed 91 and went to 92. So in today's video we'll only talk about the results, right? This is earning season. This is the week 3 of the January. So हम देखेंगे कि overall कैसे results थे. And even in this bad market, there are few companies which are actually able to generate a lot of profit for the shareholders because of they have a good proximity to the commodity players, right? So let's go one by one, right? And so if you want to know those two companies' name, do stay tuned and watch the complete video. Now let's start with the banking sector. Banking sector में अगर देखोगे आप तो अगर आप पैट देखोगे ओवरऑल येस बैंक और आरबीएल बैंक का दोनों का ही पैट था लगभग 2x to 5x ग्रो किया है, राइट? बट दिस इज नॉट एनीथिंग लाइक मार्केट इज इम्प्रेस्ड बिकॉज दिस ग्रोथ मेनली केम फ्रॉम नॉट बिकॉज ऑफ नेट इंटरेस्ट इनकम बट ओनली बिकॉज उनका जो प्रोविजन था वो प्रोविजन बहुत कम हो चुका है एंड इसीलिए उनका जो प्रॉफिट था बहुत इंक्रीज हो चुका है, राइट? तो ये उतना कुछ मतलब खास नहीं है मार्केट के लिए, राइट? Other than that, I think Karur Vysya and DCB Bank have still given good both top line growth and also revenue profit growth. So ये जो छोटे छोटे banks है, I think there can be something to look into them, to study it about, and you should do your own research. In terms of the large banks, I think HDFC, Kotak and ICICI has all came out to the results and none of the results really impresses us. All of them have like HDFC का जो profit growth हुआ था that is from a non-core income, right? मतलब banking से नहीं हुआ था, other income से हुआ था. So large cap banks में nothing is impressive. Shriram Finance came out to the result, but उसका revenue growth was good, but one time कुछ कारण के लिए profit was down. So अगर हम एक दो लाइन में अगर कंक्लूड करते हैं बैंकिंग एंड एनर्जी सेक्टर बहुत ही सिलेक्टिव पॉकेट में इज डूइंग वेल. नेक्स्ट वी कम टू आईटी में जो होता है कि आपका जो पहले 2 हफ्ते में जो 12 कंपनीज है TCS, इन्फोसिस, HCL उनके रिजल्ट आ जाते हैं, राइट? ओवरऑल आईटी का जो मूड था मार्केट में इट वाज वेरी डाउन अक्टूबर नवंबर में. तो उस रिलेटिव बेंचमार्किंग देखोगे तो आप रेवेन्यू हैज़ बीन स्टिल इन पॉजिटिव हाई सिंगल डिजिट ग्रोथ एंड पैट इज ऑल्सो डिसेंट ओनली, राइट? बट आईटी में जो जहाँ पे एक्चुअली ग्रोथ हो रहा है वो मिड कैप में है बिकॉज द टू कंपनीज आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट इज परसिस्टेंट सिस्टम एंड कोफोर्ज, राइट? बोथ ऑफ देम हैव बीन एबल टू ग्रो देयर लाइक रेवेन्यू और पैट को आप वन टाइम जो लेबर कॉस्ट है उसको हटा कर देखोगे तो बोथ ऑफ देम एबल टू गो. Persistent system has been able to grow around 20% and Coforge has been able to grow about 30%. The reason is because the big IT players are broad-based growth, right? They don't as such specialize in any one department. The growth in the IT sector, the outsourcing sector is in a very few, let's say cloud, data engineering and some other very specific niche topics, right? जो smaller players है, they specialize in them. And so that's the reason they are able to grow and they have a smaller base. So इसलिए उनका ही growth हो रहा है. Again, very selective here. And I think broad-based IT का sentiment तो अच्छा नहीं है. But the smaller companies, I think, in the IT sector are growing. Emphasis पे result आया था. They typically look into the BFSI, but उनका revenue तो खास नहीं था इस बार. The AMC sector, and I have spoken a lot about the sector. Last week I covered HDFC, AMC, ICICI, AMC. तो इस sector में जो बाकी जो छोटे प्लेयर्स है, आदित्य बिरला, यूटीआई एंड कैनरा रोबोको, all of them came out with the result and they have been able to grow the revenue growth, but it's maybe ICICI AMC is leading the race a lot because they typically have been able to get a lot of money in the hybrid equity scheme, which is the smaller player lacking. So if I think about the smaller players doing well, they need to get their cost overall very safe, right? इसमें से आई थिंक कैनरा रोबोको हैज़ अ गुड चांस टू ग्रो बिकॉज कैनरा रोबोको इज का जो पेरेंट है इज कैनरा बैंक, and if they really try to sort of, and Canara Bank, I'm sure they will have branches across the smaller cities, small and other many places. So बाकी जो आदित्य बिरला है and UTI है, they are very much dependent on distributors. So overall, but I think the valuation of the smaller AMCs is still sort of becoming a bit more palatable. So इस जगह पे आप देख सकते हो बिकॉज HDFC AMC and ICICI AMC is very high at the moment, but if the smaller AMCs has a good valuation in the near future, then आप एक बार देख सकते हो उनमें. It's good to look at, yeah, because इनमें भी growth होगा, maybe not market leading but growth होगा for sure. Now we come to the index which has sectoral index which has performed the worst the last 1 week. This is the Nifty Realty sector, right? तो इसमें जो था कि DLF, Lodha, Prestige, and Oberoi, right? So all of the companies have really like went down by 15-20% last 1 week. The reason is because Nifty Realty has rallied a lot before this and they are sort of priced to perfection. इसीलिए जब रिजल्ट का जो आई थिंक ओवरऑल नंबर हेडलाइन नंबर्स आर गुड, लाइक नेट प्रॉफिट एंड रेवेन्यू ग्रोथ इज गुड, बट उनका जो बुकिंग जो एक्सपेक्टेशन था उतना कुछ खास आया नहीं है, राइट? बिकॉज रियलिटी सेक्टर में हम देखते हो कि प्री सेल्स कितना होता है rather than सेल्स, मतलब लोगों ने कितना बुकिंग कर रहा है. एंड ओवरऑल गिवन मार्केट के डाउट भी होता है कि जब बहुत लैंड पार्सल खरीदते हैं सर कंपनीज, हाउ लाइक कैश कब आएगा, राइट? सो इसलिए सॉर्ट ऑफ मार्केट इज़ वेरी मच स्पूक्ड एट द मोमेंट विद द रियलिटी सेक्टर, राइट? सो इसीलिए एंड टिपिकली रियलिटी सेक्टर का जो बैलेंस शीट है दैट इज़ वेरी कॉम्प्लिकेटेड फॉर टू अंडरस्टैंड. So I never really look into much into the realty sector, but yeah, overall, because of bad expectations, because of bad booking details, the realty sector has corrected a lot in this 1 week. Now we come to the final two sectors, and जहाँ पे मैंने बोला था कि they have done very well in this last 1 week, given the market has been very turmoil, right? The first sector is the OMC sector. So typically आपको जो refineries होते हैं, BPCL and HPCL, given how the crude price has been quite weak over the last 1 quarter, so their profit has boomed a lot, right? BPCL का profit है लगभग 80% बढ़ चुका है and HPCL का almost triple हो चुका है. Even though I don't track these two companies very much, but it's interesting to see and good to see that at least some companies are making money in this sector. Overall, we need to look into the guidance of these two companies just to understand that whether next quarter के लिए कैसे grow करेगा, and just to be cognizant, like overall these government companies just are good dividend keeping companies, right? And they are not also trading at mouth water valuation. So it's good to know, it's good to track, but I don't know if I'm keeping it in a core watch list also for buying. And the last bit of today's video, where I told that two companies have really been able to grow the profit because of the commodity cycle. The first company goes by the name Hindustan Zinc. They typically look into two metals to sort of mining and producing. One is the lead, another is zinc, as zinc from Hindustan Zinc, right? But the advantage they get is that they also sort of produce silver to a small extent, not a lot but small extent. And given how the silver price has like rallied, like double or triple हो चुके last एक साल में, I have stopped keeping account of it. They have benefited a lot from this move, and overall year on year I think they have benefited by 44% profit growth in the last 1 year. Now with the geopolitical tension that is going on, right, and Trump जी मतलब पता नहीं मतलब कल क्या कर देगा सुबह उठ के, right? So इसीलिए the precious metals rally is going very strong, and maybe such companies are a good hedge for your portfolio. That is company number one whose profit has been good, and going forward there are chances that maybe it will be good also, right? The second company I think जहाँ पे एक structural growth मुझे दिख रहा है, and as much as possible जहाँ पर भी like covering all the precious metals, industrial metals, जहाँ पे भी प्राइस इंक्रीज का चांस है, उधर इसके बाद एडवांटेज मिलने वाला है. So कंपनी का नाम है MCX. MCX basically does commodity. It's a commodity trading exchange. Just like you have NSE, BSE for equity exchanges, MCX पे commodities trade होता है, right? So इस sector का मतलब the good part is that the operating leverage मतलब कि after some time there are no additional cost for the revenue, so most of the revenue comes to the profit. So अगर आप इस क्वार्टर में देखोगे आप, revenue growth has been around 2.5 times, like I think 200 करोड़ से शायद like 250 करोड़ से 600 करोड़ हो चुका है, and profit growth has doubled or tripled, yeah, like whatever, like huge number, right? So that really shows that the broad-based rally in the metals has ensured that a lot of people trade bullions, मतलब कि द मेटल्स है जो एक्टिविटी इंक्रीज हुआ है मेटल्स का, इसीलिए ये हुआ है. One more thing is that they have also launched the index options, right? They have made Nifty like metal index options, right? They've started something like that. This was something a very similar trend we saw in BSE. BSE ने भी जब उन्होंने अपना सेंसेक्स और जो उनका जो इंडेक्स का जो ऑप्शन शुरू किया था, उसके बाद निफ्टी BSE has been like a 15x in the last 3 years, right? If you will know this. So similarly, MCX is also sort of playing with this idea, and I think ये जो more than the gold rally, I think this index options for MCX should be tracked ahead for yourself. This was episode 3, and I really hope you liked the video. Do share it with everyone with you who follow the stock market. And in this video, I have covered around 25 to 30 companies' quarterly results, and hopefully this will give you a good sense of market breadth, and hopefully it helps you to become a better investor. Yeah, thank you, and do like, share, and subscribe.